Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the new F1 2021 driver ratings and trying to correct them a little bit and give my own verdict. Before I start, I have to say my ratings are based on both the driver's career and their 2021 start to the season. I give more weight and more benefit of the doubt to a driver's overall career and knowing what they're capable of. So if I had to give a rough split percentage, 70% career, 30% 2021. Now, let's get cracking. Codemasters gave Hamilton a 95, Bottas 92. I have given Hamilton 96 and Bottas 88. I bump Lewis up a little bit because he's just won his 7th goddamn title. He needs to be the outright best rated driver, no question. As for Bottas, 92 was too high for sure. He's good, but not top 3 on the grid, so bump him down to an 88. Best of the rest, if you like. As for the face stats, Hamilton gets big upgrades on racecraft and awareness. He's very consistent, doesn't get into many incidents, but has got his fair share of penalties over the last year or so, so 94 is fair, as opposed to anything higher. And his racecraft, well, it's one of the best I've ever seen in the sport, so 98 is a good rating. Almost matches his race win tally. Bottas gets his awareness nerfed from 99 to 89. He's clean, he's a fair driver, but he does make his fair share of unforced errors. And his racecraft is not something he's known for, so 82 is about average for your top F1 driver, if you like. Onto Red Bull. Max keeps his 95 because of his stellar 2021. If it was based on their overall careers alone, I'd give him lower, but his 2021 bumps it up to 95. Perez gets bumped up to 90 from 87. I think he's one of the best drivers on the grid now. He's outperformed his machinery relative to everyone else over the past 10 years or so. Got many podiums in midfield cars, and now at Red Bull he's doing exactly the job that they want him to do. Third in the championship, 90 rating for Checo. I bumped Max's pace up to 98 because I do think he's the joint quickest on the grid. There's no evidence to suggest he's any faster or slower than Hamilton. So 98 speed for Max. Perez gets pushed up in every area, racecraft, awareness and pace. He was too underrated in my books in Codemasters' original ratings. Now Ferrari. Ferrari was shafted like mad in Cody's original ratings. 88 and 87 for Charles and Carlos is a joke. Charles is one of the best drivers in F1. He's shown against Vettel at Ferrari in a not so great car what he can do. 93 for Charles is a good rating for me. As for Carlos, has been my surprise of the season. Carlos has shown his worth to Ferrari so far. He's pushing Charles, not to a level where he's not comfortable, but he's doing exactly what Ferrari need. When Charles doesn't perform, Carlos does, picks up the points, is so complete and consistent as a driver. He has great stats I've given him for racecraft and awareness. His pace is also great. It's what he's known for. Carlos 90, Charles 93. Now, McLaren. On the flip side, I think they got this terribly wrong. It didn't make much sense what they were doing. 91 for Lando, 90 for Daniel. Doesn't add up with anything. If it's based on just 2021, why is Daniel so high rated? If it's based on their overall careers, why is he lower than Lando? Given that the overall careers and general underlying ability is what I'm focusing on here, Daniel 91, one of the best on the grid. Over the years he's shown his consistency, his pace, his racecraft. He's got everything in his locker. This isn't the Daniel we're seeing in 2021 is not the one who destroyed Vettel, dismantled Hulkenberg in his own team, who went eye to eye with Verstappen at Red Bull. Come on. We're yet to see the best of Daniel at Red Bull. Once he hits his stride, he's going to shock a few people, I'm convinced. As for Lando, extremely talented guy, but you can't put him above Carlos. Carlos beat him 2 years in a row in the same car. So I've given him an 88, but that should rise with time. He's so consistent, so mature at his age, very level-headed. He's a great driver, as Hamilton said on the radio. But is he better than Daniel? No chance. Moving on to Alpine, this might shock a few people. I've given Alonso 95 and Ocon 83. I'll explain. Yes, Alonso took 2 years out. He had a bit of a shaky start at the start of the year, but in the past 5-6 races, the Alonso I've seen is the Alonso of old, the one from 2018 who whitewashed Van Dorn, who beat the likes of Kimi Räikkönen, Jenson Button, fought for world championships at Ferrari. It's the same guy. He looks reinvented at Alpine, motivated, as fast as ever. So if I were to rate him in 2018, I'd give him 95, and that's what I've done. 95 for Alonso, 94 pace, 98 racecraft, 96 awareness. He's got it all. Probably the most complete driver we've ever seen in the sport. So yeah, that's Fernando. As for Esteban, I knocked him down a little bit because he's not had the best 2021, especially the past 5-6 races. Nor was his 2020 particularly spectacular. He had a good 2018, but neither his overall career or his 2021 has been a standout. Moving on to Aston Martin, I've given Seb 87 and Lance 82, as opposed to 89 and 83. I'll explain myself again here. You might accuse me of using double standards with Seb and Fernando, but to me it's clear that Seb hasn't been in that discussion for the top tier elite drivers since 2017 at least. He dropped off quite a lot after that, whether if it was just him getting exposed or him actually losing his mojo and confidence is another story. But Alonso has showed no signs of slowing down, but Seb genuinely has. He's not the same motivated, villainous Seb that he used to be. I think that Seb is well and truly gone. His past few years, or his 2021, haven't been spectacular either. He had a good podium in Baku, good performance in Monaco, but that's kind of it. He's sort of been matching Lance in every other race, every other area, qualifying, race pace, you name it. When you consider Alonso is doing the same or better to Ocon, who's generally seen as the better driver, it puts things more into context. Given the head-to-head records with Perez between Ocon and Stroll, it sort of clarifies where both of them are against each other right now, and Alonso has been far more impressive in my books. Like I said already, he had stunning performances in Monaco and Baku. He's a legend. He put in legendary performances in those races. But the fact of the matter is he's been far away from what we all know he's capable of. And Alonso, on the other hand, isn't. He's just the same old Fernando who left the sport. So hopefully, fingers crossed, in 2022, the style of driving suits Seb a bit better and we can see the more consistent, the motivated Seb that we were used to seeing at Red Bull and Ferrari. As for Lance, with all due respect, I don't see him as one of the quickest guys out there. He got obliterated by Perez 2 years in a row. He wasn't great at Williams either, so How much he's improved since then is an unknown. He's already in his 5th season, so I wouldn't say by much, especially compared to the likes of Charles, Lando, etc. We must also bear in mind, going back to Seb, that who knows what would happen if he had a Lando or a Charles alongside him coming into a new team. He didn't fare well against Charles in the same team last year, so it might be the same story this year. And for that, it might look like Seb is doing better than he actually is, and that's my personal gut feeling. Feel free to disagree, but that's my opinion. Codemasters gave Gasly a 90 and Tsunoda 82. I think those were absurd. They were way too high. Gasly's a very good driver, but he's not 90 level yet. We must remember he's not that experienced. He's still relatively new in the sport. His time at Red Bull was not good. We must keep that in mind. He might not be the most versatile pair of hands, but he's fast. He's getting the most of his AlphaTauri machinery, more so than his new teammate. But again, I need to wait and see with Pierre. I think 87 is fair, could go up a bit more, but we need to give it a bit more time. Let Yuki find his feet, see how they match up against each other. Speaking of Yuki, he's been diabolical so far. He's been mistake-ridden so far in his time in the sport. He's found himself in the barriers far too often, even for a rookie. So work needs to be done on that side. I gave him 70 awareness because of all the mistakes, but 82 racecraft. He can pull off a move. We saw in Bahrain, he was outrageous on the brakes, but his qualifyings haven't been good. His race pace hasn't been great either. So 75 for pace, 76 overall. Now, Alfa Romeo, I'm going to say it straight away. I think Kimi's time in F1 is done. It's the first time I've really seen his raw pace just desert him. In the past, there have been reasons behind it. I don't buy all of them, but, it is what it is. He's been out-qualified by Giovinazzi pretty convincingly. His race pace has been there, but lapses in concentration maybe taking its toll, age taking its toll, who knows. He definitely isn't the most motivated guy out there. They're definitely younger, probably quicker options, but who knows at this point. Rumour also says Bottas could replace Kimi. That'll be quite interesting, but I guess we need to see how everything plays out. As for Gio, he was also shafted by Cody's. 79 is far too low. 82 is a bit better. I think he's a good driver. We still need to see with him, is it really Gio upping his level this year, or is it just Kimi dropping off? We need to find the right balance there. So just 82 all round. Gio, I need to look into Gio a bit more. He's still a bit of an unknown. On to Williams, I think Russell 90. He's one of the best drivers on the grid already. We saw what he can do in the Mercedes and Sakir. He showed great racecraft there against Alonso on the weekend as well. Showed what he's made of in that Williams. Fought for every inch of the road. Didn't quite work out, but hey, Alonso is no easy competitor to fight. He did absolutely brilliantly, George, to get that Williams near the points. I've given him 92 pace as well. He's one of the fastest on the grid. I think we all know how fast this guy is. Showed it in F2, showed it at Mercedes, showed it at Williams. I think he's up there with Max and Charles for raw pace. As for Latifi, I kept him the same because I don't really know much about him. He was in F2 for so many years, we don't really know what his true level is. Same with George. Is it just George is exceptional that Latifi's being made to look worse? Or is he actually that slow? No one knows. I just kept him as it is. Similar story with the Haas guys. We don't really know too much about them. Mick is the F2 champion, giving him 76. Same as Yuki. I didn't give him higher because Yuki was a rookie and his rookie season was way better than Mick's. But Mick is the champ on the other hand. Anyway, nerfed his pace a little bit because he's not that fast yet. Awareness, racecraft experience stayed the same. As for Mazepin, I upped his pace and lowered his awareness. I think he's quicker than people make out. He's not a Ragnarthon or a Delada type driver. He's won races, he's got front rows in F2. There's been talk that he has a worse chassis than Mick's, which might explain the large pace delta. But I don't think his awareness is up to F1 level. He does spin a lot, he does not get out of the way for blue flags as he should. He needs to up it in that sense. And I just kept the racecraft as it is for both. I don't know if these guys can race wheel to wheel or not. The Haas car just doesn't allow anyone to get a proper reading. So yeah, that concludes it for 2021 grid ratings, but we're not done. As you may know, there are also 7 classic icon drivers added to this year's game. I don't entirely agree with their ratings either, so I've decided to give them a little bit of a makeover. Here's what I've done. In the top left, we have Michael Schumacher and Ayrton Senna. 96 for both. I've done that for convenience, so the fans don't have any debate. Hamilton, Schumacher, Senna are all equal. I upped their pace, both of them, because, again, I think they were as quick as Lewis, for example. I didn't rate Senna's awareness as high anymore because he did crash quite a lot, and yeah, with back markers and all that. But yeah, 96 for both overall. We have Prost as well, 95. Now, there are those people who say, oh, Prost scored more points than Senna as teammates, but Senna was the better driver. It's just a fact. He won more races, finished ahead more, got more pole positions, qualified ahead more often. There's not one metric where Senna was not better, and he went on to improve as a driver after their time together. So yeah, Senna 96, Prost 95. I've given Jensen 90. I kept him the same. I upped his speed a little bit because that was too low in my books. But I couldn't give him higher than Rosberg. I don't know how Cody's managed to do that. Rosberg was simply better, in my opinion. He pushed Lewis to a level where he felt uncomfortable, something Jensen never did. Jensen was spectacular in 2011, beat Lewis on merit, but that was not the Lewis who faced Nico. A more mature, more mellowed version of Lewis would have handedly beat Jensen, just like he did in 2012. So yeah, Nico above Jensen. Upped his pace quite a lot, Nico. He was rapid, he was consistent, 95 awareness, didn't get many penalties or make many errors, but his racecraft was where he did lack to Lewis. So yeah, 91 for Nico Rosberg. DC was an interesting one. I'm surprised he was given 87 above Massa, because I think Massa was clearly better. DC was a safe, reliable pair of hands, but he just wasn't that quick. He lost to all his high-level teammates. Hill, Kimi, Mika, Webber. Yeah, he was just a solid backup driver, if you like. I mean, Massa beat Kimi. Coulthard never did. So, and Massa challenged for a title. So you've got to say Felipe was better if you're rating the two against each other. But yeah, Coulthard was a master of changeable conditions. His IQ was incredible. He was just a reliable pair of hands. But Massa showed he could lead Ferrari. He led Ferrari in 08. Did make some clumsy mistakes. Wasn't great in the wet. But was just, again, solid pair of hands. Yeah, and that concludes it for the icon drivers. Let me know what you think, if you agree or disagree, anything you'd change. I'd be happy to know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please smash the thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We put lots of effort into these videos, and ultimately it will just help us grow as a channel. So that would be much appreciated. And thanks for watching, and until next time, it's a goodbye.